everybody, welcome to Burnie's Applebox, Friday at 2 o'clock. Every Friday, always here for you. And today we've got a great show. First, I'm going to talk to Greg Flores of gripsupport.com and Grip Rigs, and he's going to show us about what happens when a thing or two goes wrong. So check that out. And also, it's going to be the best of some of my highlights from my interview with Matt Givot. Matt has done such fantastic work, and believe me, he is a time-lapse master. We've got some great footage, and Matt's here to tell you everything you're looking at. So enjoy the show today, and we'll be back in a moment. Hi, I'm Burnie. I own Burnie's Grip and Lighting, San Diego Grip and Lighting, and Los Angeles Grip and Lighting. You know, we pride ourselves on not only renting you the best equipment, but also giving you the best crews. And one of our core values here at Burnie's Grip and Lighting is that we give you the highest production value in the world. And remember, people used to say national, local. No, we present world-class production value on every set. We also know budgets are very tight these days, and you've got 10 hours to get what you need in the can. We move ahead, we move fast, and we know what you need. When you rent from Burnie's Grip and Lighting, you have a partner on your production for that day that is making sure you are well taken care of. So anytime you're in Southern California, give us a call at 714-609-3545, and we'll take very good care of you. See you on set. Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm here with our special segment with Greg Flores, great friend, buddy, and of course, owner of Grip Rigs and gripsupport.com. And Greg's got something for us today that is something we live in fear of, something going wrong on set. Greg, anything happen to you go wrong on set ever?
Things go wrong all the time. I see things go wrong all the time. The thing is that these things could be stopped. A lot of times it comes from people panicking or people trying to do things too fast, or somebody's just trying to rush and get it over with and get the shot. And we could stop these things from happening. But let me show you some pictures of some of those things so we can learn from them.
Yeah.
This picture here is a picture of a crane, and it looks like they needed to get a high shot. And back then in the 1950s, the only way to get that shot was, well, there was no way. So what they did was they got this crane and put some scaffolding on it. And then they put the camera team up above there with the camera. Pretty crazy, right?
Incredible. I can't think of anything that's more dangerous, and I'll bet neither of them have a safety strap on them. Boy, that would never fly today.
Right. There's another picture.
Yeah. What's this?
All right, this picture here. This is Mother Nature. Sometimes when we have to fly something really windy and things can go wrong. Luckily, in this case, here we're construction crane with a box truss. It's a 40-foot by 60-foot box truss. And what's going on here is the wind picked up so much that it ripped the rag off of the frame. Now, thankfully that it did that, because if it didn't do that and the wind would have caught the whole frame, it would have took the whole frame down and could have hurt somebody or killed somebody.
Yeah, so, and it doesn't look like there's a lot of things and people underneath that. That could have been very, very dangerous.
Oh yeah, well, I'm sure everybody cleared when that happened.
Yeah, I would have. What do we got next? Okay,
all right, here.
Yeah, what's this?
Here we were doing shot. They needed a host sister inside there. They needed a camera on the side. We were doing he wanted our back to crew parking, so he drove it back and didn't estimate that there was a tree on the side, and he hit the tree and
Oh,
it ruined the whole. Luckily, the camera was okay. The mount was damaged, and we had to get it replaced. But everybody,
did it damage the car?
yeah, it damaged the car and the camera mount.
Ooh, that hurts. That hurts. Okay, what's next?
All right, here we go.
Ooh, ooh, that looks
This
like
is
a
a picture.
taco.
Yeah, this is a picture from a crane from the side. There's an operator inside of a crane on the side. I think it's a scissor lift or something, and he's looking at the side view of this frame that tacoed because of the wind. But not only because of the wind, it was because the whole frame was done wrong. And I'll show you in the next picture here.
Yeah, let's take a look.
See,
Okay.
this picture shows you what went wrong. They didn't put any uprights on the so what's going wrong is the eventually it gave way and everything went wrong.
Hey, Greg, just
Yeah.
repeat that for us, would you? We broke up on that.
So what went wrong here was that there's no pipes on the side to triangulate the frame back to the crane. So because of that, this went wrong. There's ropes that snapped, and now you can see what happened with the wind.
Wow, wow. And there again, that stayed in place, but that could have been a killer if it would have came down.
Yeah, and this could have been prevented. And another thing too, when you're flying these things, if the wind starts to pick up more than 11 miles per hour, you should bring it down. You know, and
Okay.
a lot of it is common sense. If you see that it's the wind is picking up that frame or doing something crazy with that frame, just bring it down. Everybody, I'm sure there's people going to be mad because they can't get the shot or something, but it's better to be safe. You know.
Yeah. And Greg too, there's one point in time where as key grip, you've got to make the call and say, no, it is coming down. Is that correct?
Yeah, several times, and I remember one of the times that I made that call. The DP actually got mad at me because I didn't have another way of doing what he needed to do in that case. And we didn't know that it was going to be windy that day. We didn't know the winds were going to be 15 miles. So when it happened, I took it down. We got the shot. I saw the footage later, and it looked great. Everybody was happy except for that DP.
Yeah. That's in our world, that's not always uncommon, Greg. So that's we
I
can get
know.
away with that. Let's see what's next. What have we got next? Okay, what's this? What are we looking at here?
Okay, by looking at this picture, I can tell that this was probably a low budget shoot. And a lot of times, when we're doing non-union stuff, things like this happen because they don't have the amount of budget to do things to get the shots they need. And in this case, it looks like they straddled a pool, an empty pool with a ladder. And
Mm,
then they put a piece of wood on it, and then they put a box on top of that. And then the operator stood on that box, which is so dangerous. But not only that, he put the actress underneath it.
mm, mm.
So crazy, right? So
Yeah, I
you know
mean it's
this
just
kind
one
of
bad decision after another.
yeah, it's so easy to say we can do it a different way. Maybe they could have her body down to the end of the pool there, and they could have put the camera on the edge of that pool and shot and looked down and done the same thing. I mean, there's so many other ways to do it other than the dangerous way.
Yeah, boy, that's a great point. That's a great point. And we've been there on set when the everybody gets an idea in their mind and then they can't shake it. Just like you said, nobody was there to probably talk the other way to do the shot. And so they hung with this and did something very, very dangerous.
Yeah, a lot of times you can say no, but when you say no, you got to give them another option. That's the way to work it. So,
Exactly. Very good
you say
point.
we can't do it this way, but we can do it this way or that way, and usually they end up going with whatever you're saying because they know it's unsafe. They know that it can go wrong. You know what I mean?
Right, right. And it's their keisters on the line for that,
Yeah,
But that's really a good point you make because that's something like managing your client. When you tell them you can't do something, you got to give them an option. You got to give them an alternative, even if it's not a great one.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got next.
Oh,
All
look
right.
at this. Look at this. Okay, I can tell something's wrong here. Tell me about this.
Well, you could tell by looking at the sky there, all the dark clouds, that there was a big storm that came down. This is shot in Atlanta, Georgia, and
Okay.
this is a 40-foot, 80-foot frame. Okay. This is a green screen, and everything was done right in this case, but there was 100-mile-per-hour winds.
Wow.
And if you could look at the next picture, you'll see how they did it and behind how they were
Next
prepared
picture,
for this
sure.
shot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look
So
at that.
you would never-
Containers.
Yeah. You would never think that these are going to fall down, right?
No.
They're so heavy and everything. Sometimes the wind just gets the best of us, and now we know that there's other ways that they could have done so that this couldn't have happened. Like for instance, if they would have put the other way pointed towards the green screen, it would have had a better.
Hey, Greg, could you repeat that? You broke up just a little bit there, buddy.
So what I was saying is, there's other ways that it could have been. This could have been prevented. You know, I don't see anything wrong with the way they did this. However, looking at now that something like this could happen, you could put those containers the opposite way, where it's pointing towards the back of the green screen, and you'll get more leverage, so that this might not.
Yeah, it would have taken more force to tumble the whole thing backwards than the way it was. So those were more
Yeah.
tippable in that configuration.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But they
So,
did a great job.
Yeah, yeah. Now, would something like that, would you have those tethered as well? Would you have cables and lines that are holding those?
In this case, usually you wouldn't, because you would never think that these are going to topple over. I mean, now after looking at this photo and looking at the things that could happen with 100-mile-an-hour winds, yes, you should have it tied down, maybe to water barrels or
Yeah.
rails or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know the shot in this case. I wasn't there, so I don't know what they could have done differently.
Yeah, I think 100-mile-an-hour winds, I believe, are Category 2 hurricane. So
But it looks like what it was going on there.
yeah, no kidding, no kidding. What else do we got here, Sean? Oh, what's this? The Jimi Hendrix.
Well, you could tell here that there's a fire, and they put a 20 by 20 fly swatter with and the heat from it melted the rags above.
Oh
And
my
luckily
God.
luckily it's a plastic fabric that it melted and it didn't catch a fire up there. But this could have been prevented, and we could tell now that this is something you shouldn't do.
Yeah, yeah, that's something. Flame and rags don't go together. That's for sure. Do you know what kind of material that is? Is that a griff?
No, that was a 20 by 20 black water solid.
Water solid. Wow, wow. Was that on your set?
No.
Yeah.
No,
you
none
wouldn't
of
do
these
that.
rigs. None of these rigs were on my set. These were
Yeah.
all just pictures that I got from
Yeah,
grip rigs.
yeah.
From
Okay.
I have an album on grip rigs called "Ghetto Rigs" or "Things That Have Gone Wrong."
Things
And
that have
this is
gone
all
wrong.
from that.
I like that. I like that. That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Just before we go out, too, run through your sort of mental thought process when you're doing anything concerning safety. What kind of checklist do you run in your mind?
Well, the first checklist is got to find out what the find out where the actors are going to be, and if they're doing something. For instance, there was one scene that we were going to do on a dock, and they were going to have these motorcycles coming down the road, and they wanted to put a camera to get the motorcycles coming towards them, right? And then the motorcycles were going to fall, and they were going to slide. When that happened, I had to tell them that it can't be done unless we have a protection in front of the cameras that's going to make those motorcycles to keep them from hitting the camera crew. And so we didn't do the shot until we put some K-rails in front of the camera, and everything worked great. But
Awesome.
the thing is, you just have to try to prevent these things from happening. That's all it is. If you can picture something wrong happening, then figure out from before it happens.
Wow, that's great advice. So if you can imagine it happening, you better take a preventive measure.
Yeah, exactly. And now, luckily, we have our union. You know, they have all these safety. So all the grips that are in the union, they go through all these safety courses, and they know exactly what to do, when to bring that fly swatter down at 11 miles per hour winds. You bring it down. They know how to do it the right way. What they put their safety harnesses on. There's so many steps that you need to take to be safe on set, and it's not for you; it's for everybody. You know, and that's why the union. A lot of people look down on it, but the union is needed for those reasons. They care about the employee, and they care about the employers, and they are there to implement the right things, the right steps, you know, and take care of you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks for that, Greg. I think we have one more picture here. Oh my gosh.
So
That's not a ladder, is it?
no, this was in the Middle East, and they needed to get the shot up high, and somebody came up with the idea to get some track. That's some dolly track there. And so somebody grabbed the dolly track, they put it face up, they grabbed a combo stand and held it with that, and then you could see how many people were there. Something could go wrong. Protect the camera operator.
Yeah, there's enough people to catch him if he falls, but I mean, that's pretty funky. But hey, I wouldn't do that. Tell him never to do that. But the guy got the shot. What can I say? He used the dolly track. He dollied up.
Exactly.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, Greg, tell me about what's going on with grip rigs and grip support.
Well, right now, Grip Support and Grip Rigs, we're building an online store that's about to launch. We're getting ready for it. It's a really big task for me, but I've been working on it for over a year and a half now, and I'm really excited about it. It's going to have everything from the grip industry in one place, so you'll be able to buy anything you want there. And we're also building a class, a rigging class and a grip class, so we can teach other people how to do these things. So it's going to be a grip class on how to the fundamentals of gripping. It's going to be a dolly grip class where we can teach you how to dolly grip, and we'll take you to J.L. Fisher and to Chapman Leonard and Doors.
That is awesome. That is awesome, my friend. And we'll yeah. Sorry, you were breaking up just a little bit there, but I just want to let everybody know that this is a grip class through gripsupport.com, and you're going to hear more about it on Applebox Network. You'll be able to come in, and we'll do something, Greg, to let people know about that. That sounds
great,
awesome.
Man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you, buddy. Thank you. You are welcome on the Applebox anytime, my friend, anytime. So
be safe out there.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for that. Thanks for those safety tips too. Really appreciate it, Greg. All right, we're going to go to a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Burnie's workshop is fantastic. Burnie's workshop is awesome. Burnie's workshop is insightful.
Burnie, in one word, passionate maybe. You can tell he really cares a lot.
Burnie is a badass.
He's a great teacher. He has great stories, and I would recommend this to anyone. Not only someone like me who's starting day one, but I feel that in any profession, as you sharpen your sword, it always gets sharper.
I think the best thing about this is the access to understanding how to run your business, how to actually be in this filmmaking industry and make money at it. Coming to this workshop, I think, is what actually gets you the tools to understand how to do that, how to get out there and sell yourself.
I thought that was really cool. I thought, he knows all the tricks in the book, and he knows how to show that to us and actually demonstrate it so we actually know what he's talking about.
I
I really like the hands-on experience. That's something that you don't find a lot. That's something you have to go on set a lot to just appreciate.
I know this is lighting seminar, but it's not only talk about lightings. He also share his business experience, personal experience, and guide us to what we should do, what kind of personality we should have in this business.
His stories, I think that kind of say everything in a few example stories that he gives out from time to time.
I would recommend this workshop to anybody who just brand into the industry, people who just don't know the swing of it. A lot of the stuff they don't teach you in film school.
I deal with a lot of freelancers every day, a lot of peers that I went to school with, a lot of professionals in the field, and they all need to take this class because it puts you on the next level, on the next playing field.
Bernie's a great guy. Bernie's really authentic. Like everything he learns, everything he teaches, the way he handles himself, the way he deals with other people, he's a one-of-a-kind guy. Someone I've never come across before in the industry, and someone I hope to emulate and hope that there are more people like him out there that can help.
We've got Matt Givot on the Applebox today. How you doing, buddy?
Me, man. Appreciate it.
Great.
Doing great.
Now, I had to fight like a mother to get Matt on this show. And it wasn't because he didn't want to come on. This guy is so busy, and you'll find out with so many different, really big, cutting-edge projects that he just literally didn't have the time for nearly, what, 2-3 months.
It's been a while, yeah. It's been a while, yeah.
Yeah, but we got him now.
Yeah.
So he's here for the hour. He ain't going anywhere. And he brought a lot of good video to bring with us. So,
well,
Matt,
I'm excited to be here. Thank you very much.
That's great.
Yeah, so like you said, we've been trying to do this for a while, and it's kind of nice. It's fun to see it all. I'm happy that you're doing this.
And of course, just like our business would normally have it, I was lucky enough to meet Matt on set. Somebody called me for a shoot, and he goes, "You're working with a DP. You haven't met him yet, but he's a great guy." And of course, that's always a little bit of, you never know.
You never know.
You didn't know what I was going to be either,
know.
right? Yeah. So we got on it immediately. We hit it off, and I just realized what a brilliant guy he was and what a fantastic director of photography. And it's just been a pleasure to work with him every single time. Every single time. So, but I want to get Matt, and I want to start talking to him. First, I'm going to find out where you came from, you know, what brought you into this business. But most excitingly, wait till you see the projects he's working on. They are really, really cutting edge. So,
Thank you.
Matt, thank you so much.
Yeah, no, excited to be here.
Awesome, awesome.
So, yeah, so what brought me into this? That's a great question. You know, my father was a photographer.
Okay.
And I just have childhood memories of like always being his subject, right?
Right.
We're always readily available.
Matt, get over there.
Go by that tree. So, you know, I always got to be a part of that. We had our own lab in our house, and you know, it was medium format stuff, and so it was a hobby. And that.
So did you learn how to develop film?
Yeah,
as
all
a
that.
kid
Yeah,
and all that
exactly.
Stuff? Wow.
And that, yeah, I remember it was in the bathroom. We'd shut the door. And we were just little, but it was me and my sister. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so I guess being around that, obviously, there's that I want to do that, right?
Yeah.
And then you know, anytime we'd travel, he was have the camera, and we'd all be waiting for him to take. So I have that fond memory of that in my youth, not knowing that this is something I was going to make a career. It was just always this thing of like, you know, this passion, I guess you could call it, you know, learning photography and through him. So you fast forward, you know, life happens, you get busy, and you know, I was working a very corporate mortgage business during the boom.
You were?
I was running the operations of this large firm here in Orange County. So I was you know, the corporate, you know, world.
And what year was this?
Oh man, this is like 02,
02,
03, 04, right around, you know, right around the boom, the big boom.
Where it started, yeah,
it fell apart in 2007.
Right.
The year my daughter was born.
We all know that.
Yeah. And so really that kind of brings me to where we're at is, you know, that happened and you're just trying to figure life out.
Yeah.
You know, I was, you know, a little in my 30s.
Oh, you're
yeah.
figuring life out big time.
You're figuring life out. It's like, look, a baby at home, a wife, and
the egg cracks.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
And I was, you know, making ends meet. I was living in Palm Springs. My family was here in Orange County. I was trying like the insurance business. I was trying all these different things. And then not to get too somber, my dad passed away, and I realized, what am I doing? I'm not pursuing those passions. I'm not pursuing those dreams I had as a kid. So I picked. I literally, it's kind of embarrassing, but the truth is this: I was living somewhere out in Palm Springs. It was $1,200 a month. I was making $1,400 a month, and I had to buy a camera. So I realized I made that terrible decision of, I'm gonna buy an old used 20D, and I'm gonna go out and rekindle this passion I had for photography because I was just searching for something. And so.
And now, what year is this? 2004, did you say? Or this
no,
was,
it's like we're in 2008.
Wow.
Yeah, 8 maybe. I don't know years. It's,
okay, I would have thought like you would have had a 10-year, 15-year career before that.
This was just reconnecting with that passion in search of, you know, just that wanting to do something different, realizing this isn't where I planned on being at this age. And so, you know, that's kind of where it all came from. I went and ran out and bought a 20D. I was living out by Joshua Tree in Palm Springs.
Okay, and how old were you at that moment?
I got to do the numbers. What am I? 42 right now, so this was good.
So 10 years ago, 32?
Yeah, right around there,
okay.
Maybe 9 years ago, yeah. So that was it. And at this time, you know, time-lapse wasn't a huge thing.
Right.
Right, and I was out in Joshua Tree, and I'm reflecting on all this beautiful nature and silence and just learning everything. And so that turned into, you know, I would come home on Thursdays. My poor wife, she put up with me. But I would come home finally to be with the family, and I'd just be like, I'm gonna go shoot some time lapse, right? So I'd go out to LA and I'd just start shooting, and that would just turn into me.
And no one's paying you.
No,
now.
this no is all just
you don't have a place to put this even. This is just
therapy.
Something your passion.
Therapy,
yes, therapy. Okay.
Yeah, not knowing at all what was going to happen.
Of course.
And so I shoot this little LA time lapse piece. This is 5, 6, 7 years ago. And I put it online, I put it on Vimeo, and I share it with a friend of mine. I'm like, hey, check this, you know. He was in the same boat as me. We were learning this stuff together.
Right.
And then Chuck Henry on the Channel 4 News somehow sees it. And he's like, hey, his people call, the news calls. And they're like, hey, we saw your thing you put online. Can we share this on the news? And I was, sure, right?
Yeah.
So Channel 4 News does this piece. They're just playing it, and they're talking. It's somewhere online. I'll put it up. We'll link it up somewhere. And so long story short, like literally, I would say within a week, I started getting phone calls.
Wow.
And it was, you know, hey, we saw this thing you did in LA, and
did they give your phone number on the air or contact information?
It was what it was a lot of blogs started picking it up.
Okay.
So, you know, these different blogs and news organizations, and they were, you know,
Interesting.
they were linking, at the time, I didn't even think about having a website or anything, so they were just linking to my email. And so I got this email from what became a client, that's still a client today, and they said, hey, you know, we saw this thing you did online. I had shot the LAX pylons, those pylons that light up. And they said, we developed those, we designed those, we would like to meet you. And
so like so those pylons with the light and everything.
There was a design firm that had basically created that whole campaign.
Sure.
And that was my first client. And that's kind of how this all started. And so I had a job at the time, but it wasn't, is it okay?
Oh, yeah, we're all good, yeah.
I had a job at the time, but this was like, I was on fire for this. This was exciting stuff. And so that's just kind of how it all started, is just going out every day and shooting and learning. And at the time, there wasn't a lot going on.
So let me just review this for a second.
Yeah.
You're like a young middle-age crisis, right? Not knowing what you've done with your life, where you're going. You take the extra $200 that's meant for food, and you buy a camera with it.
Pretty much.
And then you think, hey, I've got to do this time-lapse thing. This will be cool. Somebody picks that up, looks at it, and this is like 2007.
I'd have to look exactly, but 2008.
But
maybe,
this is not
this is
like, sure, the internet's there and all that, but not the infrastructure that we have today. I mean, you know, YouTube is 2 years old.
Yeah.
And Facebook is 3 years old, and that's coming from the college dorm, 3 years old. So there's not this wide, vast expanse that you have to get things out, but it was so good, it caught fire.
Yeah, and it was never the intention. But then I realized, well, you know, they're going to pay me to do this. Maybe other people will. So I just kept shooting. I just kept shooting. I kept shooting and honing in on the craft. And you know, once you get into that world, you start looking at other people that were doing it. And these are the leaders. These are the guys that I, to this day, hold up as, you know, the Joe Capras, the Chris Pritchards, the Andrew Walkers. These are the guys that I looked up to as like, wow, these guys are really doing, you know, this is awesome work. And so, you know, you just keep learning. And then a couple other, you know, things happened. I was testing some equipment, and there was that destruction of the Mulholland Drive, or they call it Carmageddon.
Okay.
And so
yeah, Carmageddon. I remember
I was just
that.
testing some equipment, and it happened to be going on. And so nothing even happened with that piece. I put it online, and like it maybe had like 2,000 or 3,000 views. Like nothing ever happened. But again, it's not how many people see it; it's who sees it.
Sure.
And so
true.
At this stage, I get this phone call, and this is several years later. I'd have to look back. I should have a timeline because it's all a blur. It happens so fast.
I got you. Yeah.
But the Inglewood Police Department calls me.
Okay.
And they say, hey, we saw this thing you did at Carmageddon. During Carmageddon, can you teach some of our guys time lapse? And I'm thinking, well, it's not something you just teach. What's going on?
It's sort of an art.
Yeah, yeah. And they're like, oh, we can't tell you what it is, but there's this thing, and we want to time lapse it. And so you got to know what you're shooting. If you're shooting the stars in the Milky Way, that's going to be totally different than an art installation, right?
Yes.
So in order for me to gauge how to help them, I had to eventually know what it was.
Yeah.
So through several conversations, I go down to the Inglewood Police Department, I sign an NDA, and I find out it's going to be the space shuttle going from LAX to the Science Center. And at this point, I'm like, look, I'll do it for you guys.
Hold on.
Forget teaching you guys. I'll just do it. Like, well, we don't have any money. We can't pay for it. It's like, it doesn't matter. Give me access. And so that's the genesis of the whole space shuttle piece.
So now you got the police department behind you on this thing.
On this thing.
Okay.
And the way the access worked, I don't know if we're going to show it or not, but the way the access
we'll
worked
show
is
it.
LAX has their own police department. Okay. And then they handed it to Inglewood.
Okay.
And then Inglewood at the LA Forum hands it off to LAPD.
Okay.
So if I'm going to tell the story of the space shuttle, there's a beginning and an end I don't have access to.
Right.
So we had to make that happen. And then secondly, when I found out it was a 12-mile, 3-day journey, I knew there's no way I can do this by myself.
Sure.
So I was fortunate enough to be invited before that to this project we did in Yosemite where 30 filmmakers came together and were invited to shoot this thing. So I got to work with the guys that I'd always looked up to, the Joe Capras, the Chris Pritchards. And so I'd formed relationships. And so I called them up. I was like, do you guys want to be a part of this space shuttle thing with me? And we'll just go shoot it. And no one's getting paid, but we've got access.
Yeah.
And they're as crazy as I am. They don't,
Of course.
When you have a passion and a love for something.
Artists. They're artists. They want to produce.
They want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And so obviously I was excited to get to work with them and be a part of what I felt was going to be this kind of historic, thing happening in LA. And it was. It turned out really good. And, it was also really eye-opening to me because I also learned really early in the beginning stages of my business that you got to surround yourself with people that are better than what you are, right? They're better at doing it. Okay?
I do it every shoot, my friend.
And that is really, at the beginning, you think you're the expert of everything, right? And then you surround yourself with these guys and you realize there's room to grow. And learning that at that early stage was vital because I've kind of built my business model on surrounding myself with guys that are better than me at what I do, right? And
wonderful.
And really exploit everyone's real strengths, right? And the best thing about where I am today is the relationships I have with those guys.
Yeah. You know what? Hold right there because I just want to say to some people who are listening out there right now, remember what he said here. He went out with no money, did it because he loved it.
Yeah.
And it paid off in spades. And also, I think this is so important, it's so important. He found the people who were the best in the business and surrounded himself with them. That, my friend, is the sign of a true professional.
Yeah.
That you ensured your success by doing that.
And again, if we put the piece up, it's amazing to see what
let's
these
watch
guys,
the piece.
Let's
do
did.
that. Nick, are you good with that, buddy? Okay, great. Yeah, we're going to show it up right here.
Again.
And let me just tell the folks, we don't have the sound because we're afraid Facebook is going to shut us down like they have the last 2 times we put stuff up. So that's why it's silent. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Matt.
So no, it was fun. It was fun. Look, it was fun working with these guys because everyone has a different style, and it's really important. And this is a good example of blending everybody's styles together. This by no means was done by one person. This was.
Wow, look at that moon.
This was This was 5 guys that got together, all had the same passion.
So did you set up with the 5 guys, they were all individually assigned, or did you just say, guys, go out and get your best shots?
It worked out perfect. 3 of us actually had access to where we could be within a certain distance of the shuttle.
Okay.
And the other 2 I couldn't get access for. But that really actually wound up being very helpful because we have some outside shots that were very important to kind of telling the story. Like this, for example. This is Joe Capra. This is, again, I would have never put the camera under that thing. But when you're working with these guys, it just, I don't know. It's been
their heads are always working. Where's the next big shot?
And I'm
what
still
can I
learning
do?
from these guys,
Sure,
right? I mean, that's what's so
absolutely.
amazing. This is all the Toyota production. Interesting side story is Toyota actually did give us an offer to buy this, but we collectively decided to turn it down just because they wanted to own it outright. So we would have had to have taken it offline. But you can see we weren't intending, but I mean, it did quickly become a Tundra
It became
commercial.
sort of a, I remember when Toyota did that. It was a big, big deal.
Now this is where we technically lost access, but we were, you know, I've got the gift of gab, so we were getting in quick with the operators of the device and everything so that we could continue to be
so you could
with
say, hey,
the shuttle.
So
we had formed those relationships on the fly so we could keep following it.
Oh, that is so awesome.
This is great. That's Brian Hawkins just working his way up on top one of the towers to get that shot. So again, there's a narrative too that the mayor did a pretty elegant speech here as this was delivered to the Science Center, and that's a narrative that goes over it. You know, just talking about how important it was for the city to get this space shuttle, what it means to the city. And again, this is one of those examples of just 4 or 5 crazy guys that are passionate enough to chase this thing literally for 3 days, no sleep. Okay,
no sleep, just
zero sleep. We're
yeah.
chasing it on pure adrenaline, and then while we were there, we did meet other teams that were shooting time lapse of it. So LA Times was doing a piece, the Science Center was doing a piece. So from a business decision, I realize now, after having slept for 3 days, I got to go into post and get this thing out while it's still news.
Because in 2 days you wrap a fish in it, right? Yeah.
And so, so the guys were down with that too. Everyone
dug
chipped in, and I did the post on it and got it out, and it did well. And it's still doing well. I look at all my relationships that I have today that are my great clients, like Ideal Hall and Kineograph. All these clients I work with.
Yes.
They came from seeing this piece.
Yeah,
right?
Jeff Cole.
I met you through Jeff Cole.
Jeff Cole
at Ideal
Hall. Yeah.
So again, you know, I'm so grateful for that opportunity to get to shoot that, and the Inglewood Police Department for letting us, get access. And we wound up cutting that for them, and that actually is up in their station today. They're very proud at how they all got together to make it a smooth transition.
That is so
a lot of work went into that piece. Not on my end, on the city
everybody
end.
Yeah, city end, right? Yeah, that's got to be monumental doing that. You know. You know what? I just want everybody to know is you mentioned something in there. We got to know the guys over 3 days when we were doing it.
Yeah.
And in our business, that's the magic. You're in these temporary situations all the time, and it's the relationships you make. That is what gets you through those shoots. That's what gets you the good shots right there. We're going to go to break right now, but we'll be right back, and we're going to show a lot more of Matt's stuff. So we'll see you in a minute. I'd like to take this opportunity to invite you to watch Burnie's Applebox. It's every Friday at 2 p.m., always on the Applebox network. And we interview people from EPs to PAs. And this is about your life, the life you live, the life you love on set. Join us. We're going to have a good time and a lot of great information. Hey everybody, back here with Matt Givot, and that space shuttle thing, and here's what blows my mind, dude. And I'm serious. I've worked with Matt. We've known each other, 3 years now? Yeah. I had no idea you got into the business you had some experience before, but really you have parlayed all of this in the last 10 years. Oh, yeah. That's mind-blowing to me.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I guess I really haven't thought of that. But no, I'm not. This isn't a lifelong thing for me. This is something midlife crisis thing of like, right? I got to provide for my family, and I want to.
Well, I was a $50 a day PA.
Yeah.
When I started, a 40-year-old $50 a day PA when I started in the business. So it's somewhat the same for me. Yep. And that's what I love about our business. When you jump into it, you can really go. You know,
And you got to take chances.
It-
you know,
it's
that's like one thing I
all
always
about
say
chances.
is like, you know, don't be afraid to throw money at it. Invest in it. Take
Yeah.
the chance. You know, because
Matt, thank you so
9 out of 10
much.
times, it pans out.
And something pans out from it
From it.
too. That's what it may not be what you thought it was
No.
going in, but something grows from it. And I really appreciate you saying that because I'm in that right
Yeah.
now with the Applebox Network. We
Yep.
just had lunch and we talked about
Yeah.
our individual endeavors. And we're going,
Right. But again, you have a vision, and you know, you put the blinders on and you go for it.
and you go for it.
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah. And what else can you do?
What else can you do?
Yeah. Yeah. So now I think we have something else coming up here. Nick, what do we got next?
Well, we could talk a little bit about the Disney thing because that
Yeah, let's
was
do
was
that.
interesting
Let's
as
do that.
well.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I'll be in if am I running okay? Am I taking too long?
No, you're fine.
It's kinda-
Dude. Keep
kinda
talking.
awkward.
Keep talking.
Okay, so as a you know, I guess I started off as a time lapse shooter, right?
Okay.
And but it's I don't really like to say that that's just all I do because it's full production.
not
now.
all you do. I've worked with you
the
on-
VR
on-
stuff
yeah.
now. But the genesis of all, the beginning of it all did stem from this love and passion for time lapse, and you know, I had ideas of shooting other time lapses after the LA piece did well, and one of them was Disneyland.
Okay.
And so, you know, I went and got an annual pass, and I'd go into the park, and I'd set up everything, and then you'd get kicked out. You can't have a tripod in Disneyland. And at the time, you know, if you want to use a DSLR and shoot time lapse, you need a tripod.
So that was it. They wouldn't allow you to bring a tripod.
They don't
in
let
there.
professional cameras in. All right,
Oh, I
this
see,
is
okay.
2012, 2000.
Yeah, they
you know.
they control the message. Yeah.
And so, you know, I'm not like a rule breaker, but I did try like 3 or 4 times to no success. And so I had this thing where I write down all my ideas. Today I still have it. I recommend that too, by the way.
Okay, what is that? Writing
just
down
write
all
your
your-
ideas, flesh
Sure.
them out, get them on paper.
Sure.
Doesn't mean you have to go do it today,
Yeah.
but have it, right?
Have it to take back and flip the
Yeah,
page back.
Exactly.
And, look.
And so that journal got, you know, I didn't give up on the Disney job, but I just wasn't the time.
Yeah.
And so fast forward, turning this, you know, deciding I wanted to turn this into a business and stuff, I reached out and was working with other people. And a friend of mine, Dan Douglas, he has a business doing events and weddings and that. And so he had got contracted to shoot a very VIP guest at Disneyland for 3 days to film their vacation.
Oh.
And he said, do you want to go? And I said, sure, let's do this. And on the second day, the guest got ill, like dehydrated. And we were there Saturday morning, and they're like, sorry, he's not coming out. And so I had this split decision idea. I was like, look, why don't we stay in the park? We'll shoot some time lapse, and we'll get some B-roll. Because for Disney, when we were shooting something that's been, you know,
Yeah.
given permission, they give you plaids or stripes. I forget the names, but
Okay.
they're escorts that take you.
Yes.
So all of a sudden, I'm in Disneyland for 8 hours with my tripod, my slider, like the whole 9 yards. So I just went to town, and we
What an
shot as
opportunity.
much as we possibly could in the park, Dan and myself. And so, you know, we were done with the piece, and not knowing I was going to actually have a piece, you know,
Yeah.
how much. When I started putting it together and building it, I realized, oh, we actually do have a standalone piece that
Yeah.
I would probably like to share. But then you all have the fear of, you know, it's Disney. You know, do we have permission? We
Yeah.
were under contract on a job.
Well, I have
like,
the
you know.
big mouse foot
Yeah,
come down on
so
me, right?
we sat on it for like
Yeah.
6 months. And if you want to play it, I'll walk
Yeah, let's
through it.
take a look at it, Nick.
So again, you know, this is one of those opportunities, and the song too is fun if you want to see it later online with the
Yeah,
music.
we don't have sound right now because we're afraid of getting shut down by Facebook.
But we wound up releasing it, and it did well. You know, 300-something thousand views in the first literally like month it was out.
That's pretty good.
And all these news publications and travel, like Huffington Post Travel, and like all these,
my
you know, we did we got invited to shoot a satellite show for some Canadian news network, and so it got a lot of traction. And then all of a sudden,
Wow.
all of a sudden you fast forward, and all of a sudden we get the call from Disney, and they're like, "Hey, we saw what you
How you
did,
doing, man?"
and we're just kind of curious. How did you get access to the park?"
Oh my God.
And so the agreement with them was, look, you show the park in a good light. You're not anywhere you're not supposed to be. So
Right.
we're not going to make you take it down.
Right.
You know, there's just some agreements made that we wouldn't ever license or sell the footage.
Of course.
But through
Not
that,
unreasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But through that, they became a client. And so it's, again, an example of, we live in a time now where, as creators, you can go out and shoot something, and the people that you want to see it might see it.
Yeah.
You know, I asked the guy, I'm like, how'd you come across this? And he's like, I probably had 20 separate people email me this saying,
really?
Who shot this, right?
Wow.
And so, again, it's just one of those situations where, and I'll touch too a little bit on the Vimeo staff picks.
Yeah.
The space shuttle and the Disney piece, this Hawaii piece we just finished, they all have staff picks. And staff picks they're nice. They're real, they get a lot of eyeballs.
Okay.
It's a very professional community.
Okay.
And
when they say staff picks, is that actually people at these organizations that pick out and say, I like this one?
you get a little badge. It shows on the thumbnail, and
they put it on the front page and all that good stuff.
And back in the day, 5-6 years ago, it was a little easier because there weren't so many videos, right?
Yeah.
But now it's a little,
tougher. I mean, there's
tougher,
5 days worth of video posted every minute
a lot
on
of
YouTube.
Content.
Yeah.
But the news organizations, the blogs and everything, they just go to the staff pick page to aggregate, to share stuff, right?
Gotcha.
And so it's kind of, they're helpful. They do, a
very
staff
much
pick gets
so.
you some views. And so, again, everything's a team effort, and all the people that I've surrounded myself with have made these things possible. So it's just one of those things.
So was this, now when you saw it and Disney looked at that and stuff, and they were obviously, I mean, Disney's got a reputation.
Yeah.
If they wanted to shut you down, it would have been gone before they ever
Yes.
made a phone call.
Yes. Yeah.
But they liked it well enough. They saw the value in it well enough, where they made a deal with you to come back and shoot some more.
We've done some stuff with them, yeah.
That's amazing to me.
And it was nice of them to let me
awesome.
leave it up there, again, because, these things are all, they generate traffic, and having to take them down would just, not be good.
I could suppose that Disney could do anything it wanted to with enough money and time.
Yeah.
You pretty much
exactly.
can get your way, right? But what would have been the objection if somebody can go into Disneyland with a camera, but they don't want any professional photographers? I mean, people could do this. They couldn't do it at that quality.
Well, there was an entire feature film that was shot in Disneyland as a guerrilla style.
Really? I didn't even know that.
And it didn't portray the park in a good light. I think it was like a murder mystery. But
did they take it down? Did they make it
I don't know. I'd have to look. I don't know. I just remember that being brought up to me while we were trying to decide if we should, go live with the piece.
Yeah.
Look, as it's their property. And if I'm going to capitalize on it and sell footage and make money on it, that's not fair.
That's true.
So I do get it.
Yeah.
Right. But again, we're not selling it. We're not making money off of it.
No.
And
you came in as a friendly neighbor.
As a friendly neighbor.
Yeah.
And we were, like I said, I'd planned on shooting in Disney anyway as a passion anyway. So I did want to show the light side of, the happy side of it. And it wasn't ever, there was no ill intent at all. It was just a guy that knew that would be a great place to shoot time lapse. It's teeming full of life, right? So it's like, well, of course I want to shoot here.
You couldn't get it out of your blood.
But they're great. They protect their intellectual property very well.
That's super.
Goes to show. I mean, Little Mermaid's how old, and it's still selling tickets, and still got a line at the ride.
That's once. I just told you off air before we started too about this article that I read about the studios. But his sort of point in that is the only one that has it right is Disney. Because they started this collection idea of their archives and stuff long before there was, anybody was selling anything
their
on the
intellectual
internet.
property.
Yes.
I mean,
a nth degree.
And again, you just in our business, you have to respect that.
You do.
So, but again, it's just an example of do what you love, get it out there. I didn't shoot that for money. I wasn't. Wasn't trying.
That was a freebie to you.
That was just something I wanted to do, and I think those passion projects are so important because no matter what, we do what we love. You do what you love. I do what I love.
Yeah.
But you can't help but get burnt out at times.
Well, very true. Very true. And I see the same thing in lighting. Most of my lighting experience, has been doing it for commercial purposes, almost like 100%. Those rare times that I get out and I'm just lighting something for fun, it takes on such a more exciting thing, and you can be so much more bold and do things, I've thought about that myself. I remember the only reason that I got into business is because I was so good and had such a desire to make a pretty picture.
Yeah.
And where that got me to was running a
Right,
business, which
right.
is what I never
Right.
started
Yeah,
out
yeah,
to
yeah,
do, you know?
yeah.
And so I think that is a battle
Yeah.
within us. And I think that someone like yourself who does that understands it. You know, you realistically have to take that apart and say, look, some of this I got to just go spec.
Yeah.
I got to do it because I love it. And some of it's like, boy, I can really capitalize here.
And that's exactly what is the way I feel is, you know, the passion project. We're gonna talk about the Hawaii piece soon. And that was
Well, let's do that.
That was passion.
Yeah,
that was
let's
just,
do that.
That was
because
just
you told me a little bit
pure
about this,
passion.
so I know.
Yeah.
You know, and here's another thing too. This is something. I've known Matt for 3 years. You know, we've worked on set together. We've had a great time and been very happy. I think everybody
Great
with the
jobs.
results of what we did. But this is really one of the first times I've ever sat down with you for an
likewise.
hour and
Yeah,
talked
it's
to
true.
you.
We're always busy, right?
I know,
We're
we're
always
busy.
right in the game. We're throwing right into it.
Oh
you know?
yeah, and then you stand by the camera, you're looking.
Yeah.
And go, were you working tomorrow?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get a little small talk in between takes, but it's fun to finally get to know you.
It is so fun. Yeah, that's great. So do we have the Hawaiian piece up, Nick? Is that ready? Yeah, let's show that.
So the background with this is, again, I can't emphasize enough. The guys that shot this, Aaron Mendez, Brian Hawkins, Chaz Curry, and myself, but those guys in particular are what made this piece so strong.
That's beautiful.
Myself and Aaron, we shoot a show for NBC called Iron Man.
Excuse me, was this drone or was that a helicopter?
This is drone.
Okay.
Okay, but we are not flying inside the national park. If anyone is
Okay,
sniffing
if
problems
anybody's
there.
asking about
Okay,
that.
we launched from a boat outside in the water and did
Okay.
not fly into an area that was considered national park. So.
And you have to be very aware of that.
You have to be you got to look. And not only that, when you're dealing with Hawaii, you're also dealing with a cultural thing of sacred land.
Yes.
Right? Their
yes.
culture is beautiful.
Yes.
And you have to respect their culture. So everything that you see here, we have run through and make certain that we are not.
Who did you run that
shooting.
through? Is there like a native commissioner
Yeah,
or
so
something?
we work, like I said, we do a lot of stuff with Iron Man every year. So we shoot, it's on the Big Island. That's the Big Island of
Okay.
Hawaii. So they've done their due diligence on
Yeah.
respecting that as well. And so, you know, there's people we've reached out to through that. But the lava thing started years ago. I just wanted to shoot it because it's fascinating for one. But it never worked out. Every time it was either illegal to get to because it was taking out a village, or it was 14 miles away, or you know, so many different things happening.
Yeah.
But in doing my research, I reached out to a guy that has a lot more experience in lava than myself. He does tours in Hawaii, and so for 4 years we had this relationship. His name is
gorgeous.
His name's John Tarson.
Wow.
And all of a sudden he reaches out to me 4 years later, and he's like, "Dude, you got to get to the Big Island, man. It's hitting the water, and it's only a 4-mile hike." And so I'm like, "Great, I'm in Hawaii in October. This is September. I'm like, I'm in Hawaii in October for Iron Man."
Put the volcano on
Yeah,
hold.
and he's like, "Well, dude, you don't know what's going to be happening then." So I call my friends, and I'm like, "You guys want to go to Hawaii?" And we all just hopped on a plane with pretty much zero planning. We all just hopped on a plane.
So within 48 hours, you were on the
in
plane
Hawaii.
going over there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And look, I'm known as like, they call me Fancy Pants, right? Like literally my friends call me Fancy Pants because I wear.
You're the nicest dresser on set.
I wear
Let me
leather,
just say
you
that,
know,
that by
I'm not,
all
look,
means.
I like hotels, I like showers, I like being pampered. I don't
Yeah.
like camping, I don't
Yeah.
like roughing it, okay?
Okay, very good.
I didn't do any research on this. It was an 8-mile round trip to the lava.
Yeah.
With all our gear, you know.
Yeah. Oh,
Jazz
you
was
gotta
shooting
be
a bunch of stuff on
dying.
his Epic. We've got the CP2s. We got a ton of equipment. So I was totally underprepared for that. And I had recently herniated my L4, L5 disc. So I'm walking this 4-mile trek out there, and then you get to the lava, and I'm just gonna say it's frightening. It's hot, it's uncomfortable. There's no place to stand that's not burning your feet.
Oh.
If you stop, like there are areas we had to cross, and mind you, I'm with someone that knows the intricacies of lava.
Yes.
So he's not gonna let us get hurt.
Right.
But it's also frightening. So again, you know, we had to be safe and capture everything that we could. But the point the reason I'm sharing this is because this is a passion project. This was my friends, again, crazy enough to say, yeah, let's go do it.
Yeah.
With some relationships that we had formed, and we just ran out there and shot it.
Wow. Wow. It is really amazing. Really amazing. Yeah. You know what, Nick? Reloop this one, would you? Let's take a look at it. Just go through the parts with me and tell me about it, because there's so many fascinating things.
So
I think
some of it.
You're up on Mauna Kea there,
Yep,
it looks like.
Yep. so some of it is, like I said, we had been shooting Hawaii for 4 years. So I had some of like the time lapses from some of my other trips, but the main trip where we got all the lava, we were there for about, I think about 3 days.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We're gonna loop that. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So this is Brian. This is Brian. This is just the Phantom 4, I believe.
Okay. And he just threw that up there,
just just grabbing what we can. It's such a beautiful place that it's not hard to shoot.
And what kind of camera is on that?
So the Phantom 4 is just whatever comes with it. This particular footage, that's Aaron, and that is on the Inspire.
Okay.
With the X5.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is Aaron on the back of a boat on an Epic with a Movi.
Wow. How far away from the lava were you guys actually
You're not
on that
far.
boat?
I mean, maybe...
feeling the heat, I
Oh,
assume.
yeah, the water's hot, everything's hot. Maybe, I have to check. I'm not, because I wouldn't want to say the wrong thing and the boat wasn't actually that close and they could get in trouble. But we were far enough away.
You were at the safe distance, but close enough to feel the heat.
Now, when we were on the lava, literally, I asked John, my guy that took me out there, I'm like, how close can I get? And he's like, I usually start backing up when I smell my arm hairs burning. That's literally what he told me, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And in all honesty, it is so hot. It's so uncomfortable that you physically, like you're trying to push yourself to get a little closer to get the shot, and you at least me, I functionally like, I can't do it. It's too hot.
You melt down.
Yeah,
almost,
literally,
right?
yeah. And then we're also shooting VR out there, so my GoPro's overheat in this room, right?
Yes,
yeah. So you can imagine how hard it was to get a shot of the GoPro's overheating.
That is incredible. That is incredible.
Yeah, so again, it's just one of those.
That is really, really, really gorgeous stuff. I remember the first time I saw this. I think you put this on Facebook.
Yeah, this was on all the platforms, yeah.
And then you did a behind the scenes of this.
We have a behind the scenes video.
Yeah.
This is all just time lapse, just,
See,
again,
this is really gorgeous stuff right here.
It moves slower than you'd think, so time lapse is a great platform for it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are parts of lava that move a lot faster, but where we were at and what was happening at the time, this was sped up like 300%. This is all shot on the Epic.
Wow.
So it does move fairly slow.
Yeah, but that's
so you could get out of harm's way.
That's incredible stuff.
It's still just very hot.
No kidding. That's moon. That's at night.
Yeah,
right?
This is at nighttime. Yeah. This is on top of Mauna Kea. This, we didn't even, look at those lasers. Those lasers come out. There's 13 countries that all own these observatories up there on top of Mauna Kea.
Okay.
And so you go up there and it's like you're on another planet. That's a good shot of them right there.
Yeah.
But at night, they open up and these lasers come out and they're like literally like tracking.
What are they lasering?
I don't know. It's
maybe
one of
the
those,
moon or something?
Yeah, I think,
could be.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to say. I did some research on it, but I didn't do enough to say. But it was pretty fascinating. They're not done in post. Those lasers are actually
that's
there.
the real deal. Yeah, that's the real deal.
Yeah,
oh, and this is another aerial shot here.
Just straight down.
Because I've never seen a shot like that of lava right over the top with the waves coming in. No, that's really fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty. There's something.
How many days were you over there?
We just 3 days total.
3 days total.
Yeah.
So within a 5-day period, you had heard about it, went over there, and shot it, and came back.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that is just beautiful stuff. Where is that? Do you know?
Yeah, this is. Yeah, I'm gonna mess it up.
No, I want the complete Hawaiian.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, that's the thing because it's an amazing bay. Waiapia?
Waiapia?
Yeah, I believe it's Waiapia.
We'll get corrected on that, but that's okay. Good. That's great.
Valley of the Kings, I think.
Valley
is what
of the Kings. Valley of the Kings. Okay, I've heard of that. Yeah. You know what? We're going to go to commercial break, so we're just come out of this, go to commercial break, and we will be right back. Well, thanks a lot for watching today, folks. And make sure and tune in to the Applebox Network on Facebook. Every Friday at 2 o'clock, we'll have a new show for you. Thanks a lot. See you then.